Welcome back to Lesson 1, Section 4.1 on angles and their measure. So let's start out here with radian measure. So some of you may have heard the term radian before. For some of you, it's going to be a new term. And interestingly enough, the term radian does come from our word radius. And the reason for that is that when the measure of an angle is 1 radian, you see here that we have the length of the radius right here. And this length of this arc is also the same distance as this radius, which is why that the measure of that angle is called a radian. Um, so when we think about a radian, one full circle is equal to 2 pi radians, which is the same as our 360 degrees. Now, to convert between degrees and radians, when we're going from degrees to radians, we can multiply by pi over 180. And if we're going from radians to degrees, we multiply by 180 over pi. So a great way to remember this is whatever is on top here, whatever we see on top of what we're multiplying by, this is what we're going to. So if we're going 2 radians, we want the pi on top. If we're going 2 degrees, we want the degrees on top. So let's look at that in practice here, okay? So if we are taking 120 degrees and converting to radians, okay, so we're going from degrees to radians. And because we're going to radians, we want to use the one with radians on top, okay? So what we're going to do is we are going to multiply by pi over 180, okay, which is going to give us 120 pi over 180. And we can simplify that. Let's just do it a little piece at a time. So dividing both top and bottom by 10. And then we notice that both of these are divisible by 6. And we get 2 pi over 3. Okay? Now let's look at negative 300 degrees. So take a minute and let me know what you think negative 300 degrees would be in radians. Well, to set this up, we're going to multiply by pi over 180, which gives us negative 300 pi over 180, which can give us negative 30 pi over 18, which can give us negative 5 pi over 6. All right. Now, if we are converting from radians to degrees, so we're going to radians, or I'm sorry, we're starting at radians. We are going to degrees, which means that we want to have degrees on top. Okay? So we're going to multiply by 180 over pi. Now, if we look at this, okay, 180 times 8, that gives us 1440 pi over 9 pi. Well, these pi's can cancel because if you remember, degrees do not have pi's in them. They have the degree symbol, right? Okay. And then we can consider, dividing numerator and denominator by 9, and we get that this is the same as 160 degrees. So now take a moment and let me know what you come up with for negative 1.8 radians converted to degrees. All right, so again, we're going to multiply by 180 over pi. Now, in this case, because we don't have a pi in the numerator, we really don't have anything to cancel, like we're not going to cancel out pi's. So you can take the negative 1.8 and multiply that by the 180. Okay, and that's going to give us negative 324 over pi. And then just using your calculator, just divide that 324 by pi on your calculator. And you will see that it gives us approximately negative 103.13 degrees. Okay. All right, so now let's look at coterminal angles, okay? So if you remember, the terminal side of an angle is the ending point of it. So coterminal are two angles in standard position that share the same terminal side. Okay? And these differ by a multiple of either 360 degrees or 2 pi radians. So if we consider a positive and negative coterminal angle to the ones that are given, okay, we are going to start with what we're given, and we will, to the degrees, we are going to add 360 and also subtract 360. Okay? So when you have 110 and you add 360, that gives us a positive coterminal angle of 470 degrees. And if you take 110 and subtract 360, that gives us a negative coterminal angle of negative 250 degrees. Okay? Now, for the negative pi over 4, we are going to add 2 pi, and we are also going to subtract 2 pi. Now, if you recall, for adding and subtracting fractions, we need a like denominator. So this 2 pi would be the same as 8 pi over 4. Okay. And if we have negative pi over 4 plus an 8 pi over 4, that's going to give us 7 pi over 4 for the positive. And if we subtract 8 pi, that's going to give us negative 9 pi over 4 for the negative. Now we can also take a look at finding angles that are coterminal to what we're given. Okay? So to find an angle between 0 and 360 that is coterminal to the given angle, what we're going to do, we're going to start out, since it's 910 and that is well above 360. We are going to start subtracting 360. Okay? So we start out with 910, subtract 360, and that gives us 550. Well, that is not in between 0 and 360. So we're going to subtract 360 again. And when we get that, we get 190. And that is between 0 and 360. So for the next one, we have negative 80, and we need to get it between 0 and 360. Well, this is below 0. So in this case, we want to add 360. And we're going to keep doing this, if needed, until we get something in between 0 and 360. And we just need to do it one time to get 280 degrees. Now, for the radians, again, we need to kind of consider like where we are. So we're looking for something between 0 and 2 pi. So considering that something over 6 as 2 pi would be the same as like 12 pi over 6, right? So 17 pi over 6 is above that. So we are going to subtract 12 pi over 6, and that's going to give us 5 pi over 6. Well, that is between 0 and 2 pi. So we're good to go. Now, the same thing over here. Our goal is to go between 0 and 2 pi, and this is over 12. So that 2 pi is going to be 24 pi over 12. Okay? Well, negative 35 pi over 12 is below 0, so we're going to have to add 24 pi over 12. And that is going to get us to negative 11 pi over 12. Well, we're still not in between 0 and 2 pi. So we're going to have to add another 24 pi over 12, which is going to get us to 13 pi over 12, which is in between 0 and 2 pi. So come back for part 3.